Okay, so in this match, the player who has the white pieces, Tabatabaei, I think he's Iranian, but I'm probably wrong. He won the first game, and he's 200 points higher than his opponent. And unlike another game I'm going to show you later, plus the Jesse story, this guy with black, he has the black pieces. He lost with white yesterday. His opponent's 200 points higher than him. But he must have saw risky business because he said, sometimes you have to say, it's him on Chess TV, what the heck? I'm just kidding. What the fuck, obviously. So, black sacrificed all his pawns to make the game a mess. And the game's a mess. And here white blundered. And his blunder's pretty stupid. I'm going to explain why I think it's stupid. When I say he blundered, he blundered on purpose. He thought that his move, which was losing, was better than another move that's losing, but the other move might not be losing. And he's obviously wrong. Okay, black put a lot of pressure on white. White's obviously the better player, and white folded. And now they're going to play a playoff because black won this game. So when you have the black pieces against somebody 200 points higher than you, and he's a grandmaster and you're not, and you have to win, this guy tried to win, and he did. Now, obviously, the rook is attacked and the bishop is attacked. So what white needs to do, and he's still much worse, but the move he played is hopeless. He needs to take the rook. There is no other move. You have to take the rook. And he didn't. He played here, and he was down a piece, and he lost. That's ridiculous. You can't just give a bishop away and then just play. He just played, and he lost. I'll show you the game, but... Okay, he knew he was lost after rook d1, queen takes f4, and he just didn't trust this move because it looks stupid. But that's much less lost. Okay, now we have to take this, queen d1. And the thing is, if you trade queens, black's not even better here, even though black is up a piece, because I have these two pawns that are passed and advanced, and the white king is not in trouble. The white king has no problem. In positions where somebody has pawns for a piece, and the pawns are reasonable, the person who has the pawns wants no pieces on the board. The person who has the pieces wants lots of pieces on the board. Because the pawns don't matter much when there's a black rook here and a black queen here and a black knight here. Those pawns are just blocked and you get captured. Here, okay, and here the engine actually very slightly prefers white. White has 3 passed pawns. And it's an endgame. Okay, so what has to happen in this position is the engine wants to either play queen c3 or bishop c3 check. Okay, at the moment it says this is better. Okay, I don't know. Then you could play queen d2, knight d2, or king e2. They're all okay. And the point is, by getting pieces off the board, it makes it more likely that white doesn't lose. And it says that every move is okay for white. Like he's worse, but not lost. Okay, so he played this move, and this is just hopeless. This is just resigns. White's pawns do nothing. This pawn's not dangerous, this not dangerous, that's not dangerous. That's probably going to get captured. So he had more than one way to be a piece down, and he decided to play the way where his pawns aren't dangerous. If you trade a lot of pieces, then the pawns could be dangerous because there's no pieces left. If there's a lot of pieces on the board, black just stops all the pawns, and now the pieces just crush white. So very bad judgment from white, and he lost. He's got nothing. He's all talking a badge. Yeah, he's trying, but he's failing miserably. The lesson is never try. That's a cute move rook takes because he can't win the knight as a mate. Yeah. All right. Then he just didn't resign for some reason. All right. And the game ended quickly, and he resigned here. So that's funny. The guy's white. The guy's 200 points higher rated, and he loses when he needs to draw to win the match. That guy really tried hard, and he got rewarded for making the game messy and confusing his opponent. And that's what you got to do when you lose the first game. There are a lot of people who generally aren't playing in the event who think if you're the lower rated player, it's good to draw a game rather than lose 2-0. That's not something that I can understand. You either win the match or you lose the match. You're playing a match. You're not playing in a tournament. You're not trying to gain rating points. You're trying to win the match. That's all you're trying to do. And if you lose the first game, you have to win the second game. Losing and drawing the second game is the same. You lose the match. And then you go home. And the difference between winning the match and losing the match is insane. It's insanely better to win. If you're playing in a random tournament and it's round 1, 2, or 3, the difference between winning and losing could be nothing. It could be. It could be that it doesn't change the result of the tournament for you. If you're playing a match and you win matches, your prize money doubles, triples, quadruples, and so forth. I mean, instead of winning 5,000, you might win 20,000. So you can't lose the match. You can't. You have to win the match. So it's very similar to poker. In poker, if you could choose in a tournament to play in 10 tournaments with the same entry fee and prize structure, they're all the same, and you come in first in one and last in the other 9, that's almost certainly better than coming in 10th in all 10 of them. You might feel better by coming in 10th in all 10 of them, like you outlasted hundreds of people, but it's more money if you win one and get knocked out the other 9. Because winning in poker is a lot more money than coming in 10th, 20th, 30th. It's a lot more. And it's like that in chess. If you won the World Open 1 year clear first, and you got 0 out of 9 other years, you made more money than the guy who came in 6th 10 years in a row. So you have to win. You have to win if you want to get the accolades and the money. And Black knew that, and Black did that. Black played in a way where maybe he's more likely to lose than usual, but he needs to win. So that's, I mean, kudos. I mean, that guy, you know, you're paired up and you're Black and you got lost with White, psychologically crushing. So Casper VLD gifted us up. Thank you. The psychology of chess is very strange because people are worried about their rating and they're worried about how good their opponent is. And if you're one of the best players in the world, you should never worry about that. You worry about what's on the board, and you make the move that makes you the best chance to win. The other stuff is nonsense. If you're thinking about nonsense and you're not thinking about the best chess moves, then you're not going to get better. If you're like, if I draw this game, I get 4 rating points, and then I'll be 2201 instead of 2197, and that's what they all do. Everybody who's improving in chess is like, my rating's this, and my norm is this, and my title's this, instead of like, how do I study chess and get better? It's absurd. It's amazing when I read the New York Times article about the cheating of Karyakin, and then people defending him. Oh, he didn't cheat. You can't prove that. All right. And then the Abi Mishra story. So I didn't know this, but Abi played in 6 Charlotte Chess Center GM norm tournaments, which I did know. I knew he played, and he didn't get any GM norms. 0. Then he went to Budapest and played in 8 of them, I think it said, and he got 3 GM norms. And to me, not you, to me, this is meaningless, becoming a GM at 13 instead of 14 or 14 instead of 15. To me, that doesn't matter. Now, maybe to sponsors it matters. Maybe to your dad it matters. Maybe your mom cares. Maybe you care. But what matters is you get better at chess. So him playing 2 slow games with Joe Bava that were competitive, that's much better for his chess than playing in norm tournaments in Budapest where he played 40 games in 47 days and he's trying to get norms. That's just silly. That's not how you play good chess. That's just nonsense. But playing Joe Bava, And so you could argue by getting this useless norms and title, that'll bring him to better things. That's unfortunate. You know, if Abi was 2,600 FIDE and I was an organizer, I don't care if he's a GM, 2,600 FIDE and he's 12. And he's not 2,600 FIDE, but that's more important to me because I know he's going to be a GM. I don't really care how old he is when he's a GM. And the thing is, people have lost the meaning of what it is to achieve something. And this is the flack that a lot of NBA players get, is instead of trying to have a good team and winning, they try to go to a super team and win. Like, I'm one of the top 10 players in the NBA. If I could play with 2 other top 10 players in the NBA, we could win the championship. And then they win, and they're like, yeah, I'm one of the greatest players ever. All right, I guess. Also, coaches get a lot of accolades when they do well because their players are fantastic. And when their players suck, then you don't hear about it because the coach doesn't matter very much. What matters is the players. So if you took the greatest, and the Lions have proved this every year. Every year, the Lions prove the coach doesn't matter. They take coaches who are very successful, who win Super Bowls, who have a lot of accolades. Then when they coach the Lions, they go 5-11 and 4-12 because the Lions are no good. And then the Pistons is the same. Pistons are no good. Doesn't matter their coaches. But I mean, if you're going to coach Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, then you're going to get another job coaching Shaq and Kobe, then you're a great coach, I guess. And a funny example is the Golden State coach. I know his name. I've said it 1 billion times. I can't remember people's names. I remember Michael Jordan. Anyway, I'll think of his name and I'll put it in the chat. When he had like these fantastic players who were healthy, they were winning the West. They were winning NBA championships. Maybe they'd lose in the championship. But then when those players left and got injured, then the team just loses every game because there's having good players. The coach doesn't matter. Steve Kerr. I remembered it without looking at the chat. What matters is, do you have great players? If you have great players, I guess you're a great coach. But, if you switch coaches in any sport, take the team that's the best and the team that's the worst and switch their coaches, nothing will change. The best team's the best, the worst team's the worst. Okay. And for some reason, and this has to be racism. It has to be. There's no other explanation than racism, is the Van Gundys get coaching jobs. And neither one of them can coach. And they're white. I mean, neither one of them can coach at all. Not at all. And somehow they just get jobs everywhere. That's ridiculous. I don't even know who's worse. I guess the larger one. What's his name? Steve? Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the worst coach I've ever seen, I guess. Yeah, truth hurts. Okay. Went off on a tangent there. And so forth. Yeah, I mean, if Ben Simmons is on your team, it doesn't really matter how good a coach you are. Yeah, Stan Van Gundy can't coach at all. And he gets a job at every team. That's just racism. There's no other explanation for it. If I owned a team, I would pay the Van Gundys not to coach my team. I would be like, don't talk to my players, here's some money. Go away. Paying him to coach your team is like you're just doing bad on purpose. If I wanted my team to tank, but I didn't want the players to know that, then I would hire the Van Gundys to coach them. And I'm like, yay, we tanked. Okay, but it's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, Popovich made good teams great. That's why the U.S. team loses to Nigeria and Australia, because he's a great coach. Okay. Truth hurts. If Richard Simmons is on your team, that would be better than having Ben Simmons. And I will explain why. And I'm serious. If Ben Simmons is on your team, he might play. If Richard Simmons is on your team, he will not play. He'll just sit on the bench. He'll never play. So I'd rather have nobody play than have Ben Simmons get in there. So there you go. Richard Simmons better than Ben Simmons. Yeah. Gene Simmons, He'd be an interesting coach. The players might want to play for him. Yeah. Sir Zion subscribed. Hooray. Yeah. Yeah, coaches are great until their players aren't good. Then they're not great anymore. Man, the reputations that Steve Mariucci and Bobby Ross had when they came to the Lions, and they just lose every game because they're the Lions. It doesn't matter who the coach is, they're the Lions. It doesn't matter. The Lions are the Lions. I mean, put any coach you want in there. Terrible. Yeah. Simmons mattress, yeah. Now, J.K. Simmons, now he'd be a great coach. If you don't believe me, see Whiplash.